Thank you, Dr. Gautam alias Isa. And thank you, Sibec, for giving me this opportunity. In fact, I think this topic has already been touched by you beginning this day, and I think everybody is trying to share whatever knowledge they have with regards to UAE as a global hub, and Dr. Alatas and Mr. Usama and Sayyida Iman, all of them, they were addressing the importance of UAE as a global hub. So I'll be reiterating a lot of repeated points will be there, but I will try to keep it as unique as possible. Let me share my presentation.
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we could.
Let me just do one thing. I have one small video, so I will need to enable share sound and optimize for video sharing. That's something that I should do. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Um, is my screen visible? Has it gone into the
Yes, very
slideshow?
much.
I don't see it going
Yes,
into the
yes, it
slideshow.
is.
Yes, perfect.
And now it
So
is. Yeah.
yes, yes. So, uh, leveraging UAE as a gateway to the international markets, this is my topic for the day. And I think this cannot be a better time than as we are sitting right now. How UAE has positioned itself regionally and globally as a leader, not just for business, but also for residents, for people like me, I should say. Um, Myself, a brief introduction. I am Dr. Mohamed Ali Maricar, and I have multiple roles that I play. I am a director of BBMC Group, which is a family business run in the UAE since the 1974. So I have a good standing as a long-term resident in the UAE to speak about UAE and the benefits that we and our family and our investor families have all benefited from this region. I am a co-founder of a couple of companies. I sit as non-executive director. I am a strategy and management advisor as well. I have written quite a few cases, and I have had an opportunity to win an award for one. I have a doctorate in business, family business governance, and a couple of my credentials. The reason I'm sharing all this is I will not be talking about myself at all today. This is the only slide that's about me. So, UAE, a home away from home. So I'm sure there's 81 participants, amongst which I'm confident that more than 80 or 90% are outside UAE. They are predominantly from India, trying to see how UAE could actually be a gateway to the globe. UAE is a small market. We all know the population of UAE is between 10 and 11 million. And but how a 10 to 11 million country is able to achieve what the regional and a global hub brand as it is, and this doesn't happen just by branding, it's actually by deliveries, and it's been over the last 5 decades of this country that UAE has positioned itself one stone at a time, and they did not leave any stone unturned to reach to where they are today. And from what we see, and I would agree with Dr. Gautam as well, that this is just the beginning of an expansion that UAE is going to have in the coming decades. Before I start, I would like to reiterate our President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in saying that, and this is where we get to see this a lot now all across UAE's, highways and billboards, that everyone is an Emirati. You know, Earlier we used to feel, okay, citizenship is related to being in a country and having their passports, but sometimes some countries deliver more than what we could get by having a passport. And I think as residents of UAE, we can all agree, especially, I would appreciate if there are a couple of residents who could react to this. Residents, I'm only asking the residents because you know about UAE more than the ones who are not resident, right? So maybe a wave or a thumbs up would be a good reaction. There is a reaction. So how many of you are residents? Can I see some thumbs ups, or in the comment section you could say yes, just to keep it a little bit interactive. I'm not seeing any. So first of all, am I audible?
Very much.
Thank you, Prachi. I think there's one hands raised. So we all who have lived in UAE for all these years, I'm sure many of us would have lived for at least a decade or more, and this country has evolved. This country is one second, what's wrong? Yeah. And this is our Vice President, the ruler of Dubai, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, His Highness. He says opportunities are made, a visionary leader. He says that opportunities are made, they do not just lie around. You have to go and grab them. You know, opportunities don't come to you. And it's around, but there is a red car theory that we all know. If you drive, you won't see any red cars. But the moment you want to look out for a red car, every red car that is there, and if you get compensated for every red card that you see, then you will not only just wait for a red card to come, but you will also go looking out for red cards. So opportunities and chances, they say luck is preparedness, and an opportunity colliding is what luck is all about. So opportunities are always there, and it's about us how prepared we are as business entrepreneurs, startup founders, and maybe very successful business entrepreneurs in India looking for an expansion into the GCC via UAE. For all of us, it's this quote makes absolute sense because opportunities are something that we have to go and make it. Now, why UAE? This is what I picked this up from Dubai Homes for You. This is an Instagram page. That's UAE 1970. And this is Abu Dhabi, by the way. This is the coastal line of Abu Dhabi. And tell me, in 50 years, life passes, 50 years, we probably just try to build a business, try to build career, wealth, etc. But to transform a country that was absolutely deprived of every single resource that was, let's compare it for India, for instance, every single resource that we take it for granted in India, let it be water, fresh air, soil, agriculture. Nothing UAE had. Just think about it. I'm just taking you back a 50 year, just take your minds back 50 years when there was no, massive expansion in terms of electricity grids, etc. So there was not even electricity. I was even told by my father arrived here 1974. So when he was here, lucky to have electricity, but people who arrived in the 60s and 50s, they said there was no electricity, and even to get fresh drinking water was a struggle. Now, fast forward 50 years. Today we are sitting UAE as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, and we are regional and a global hub. Our position, our strategic location is, as they call it, the Middle East. We are the middle of across the globe, 8 to 10 hour flight, and pretty much you're in any major city of the world. We've got direct flight operations. Back in the 90s, when I was going to the US, I used to change 3 flights. Now there's a single flight that you can take from Abu Dhabi, Dubai. By the way, Abu Dhabi has pre-immigration clearance to the US, so you can fly into US and walk as if it's a domestic airport for you. So a lot of things have happened in the last 50 years. And from where? From a country that was deprived of everything. Think about it. This is a very famous building that we all know who lives in the UAE. This is in Dubai. This Toyota building has been there since the, I think, late 70s, if I'm not wrong. And it's still there. It's been preserved to show the comparison between what Dubai was in the 1980s, not too long ago, probably many of us were going to school, many of us were born, but in this span, Dubai has positioned itself as a tourism hub, a tourist destination, you know. So some of the highlights that I would like to share with which I think Dr. Gaudaman was mentioning in the morning, was the location, you know. And we are like not only the gateway into the GCC, we are also a gateway into Africa. And as we all know, Africa is a booming continent, untouched, untapped, especially many. And we have absolutely fantastic, re-export positioning, especially with DP World. They've got many ports. They've got hubs across many ports in the African continent where you could store in those ports just like you're storing in Dubai. So, and then the global market. You have 2 billion customer consumers across this region, right? You're talking about Africa and the Middle East. As discussed earlier, a lot of business friendly policies. This country, you can sit at your home and the convenience and open a bank account. You can open a license in a free zone sitting at the convenience of your home. And it's a very well connected. I always say that leaders don't work, they network. And the best place right now in this decade is Dubai and UAE and Abu Dhabi to actually network with the global leaders. Next week, we're going to be having Make It in the Emirates forum. This is something very big where a lot of international speakers and dignitaries are coming to Abu Dhabi. Will be speaking in that forum in Abu Dhabi. We also have the Middle East Economy Summit. Again, another platform. And you would be surprised. Many of these platforms are free to register and free to enter. That's the kind of opportunity that you as business leaders have in the United Arab Emirates. It's not, the bureaucracy is removed. And down the day, I think today or tomorrow, Dr. Jamal will be speaking. He is very closely associated as well with a lot of the government bodies, and the way they are welcoming for investments, for ideas. And also it's an opportunity for you to learn and scale. You don't have to put your investments here. There are opportunities where you could just open up a license. Of course, you must do everything legally. You must open a license, have a bank account, and while you're opening a license, you could decide it whether you're going to do it mainland or free zone. And then you have an opportunity to test the waters. This is one of the best countries where you can do your POC, proof of concept. You want to scale internationally. All right, you have a business, say for example, you have a pharmaceutical business in India, or you have, let's not get into pharmaceuticals because that requires a lot of legal testing. Let's go for a consultancy business, an HR consultancy business, where you are actually sourcing manpower, and you want to actually check if this business that you're doing can work in Europe. Can it work in North America, Canada? There's a lot of manpower requirement in Canada. So you could test the water here in Dubai, in UAE. You could establish your company in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, any of these emirates, because every emirate has its own uniqueness. And you can scale it up. The branding and your marketing gets, has a better positioning when you are a UAE based company. So you establish a company, you test the waters from here, and if you're scaling it up, you can always. I've seen a lot of companies actually set up their initial offices in UAE and then scale, and then they move into having offices in Europe, having offices in North America, etc., etc. So you've got a lot of global connectivity. Now, we all know that one of the most efficient port operators in the world is DP World. And this is Jebel Ali, then versus now. Look at the massive, and I think this Jebel Ali is an older picture, the one that is on the now section. So UAE has positioned itself as we speak right now. There's a lot of investment going into the infrastructure in Fujairah, which is the port that is not within the strait but outside the strait. So when it comes to re-export, when it comes to material movement, they've got Etihad Rail in place. So even though we unfortunately live in a time when we are exposed to uncertainties that are not in our control, but even during this time, as someone in the business community, and I'm sure a lot of my fellow speakers who are running businesses will agree that there was absolutely uh, close to none disruption when it comes to running our businesses. Yes, volumes did have as an impact. That's part of the macroeconomics. But businesses were running. We were able to survive. We are able to keep moving, and that shows how agile and how resilient UAE as a country, as an economy is. So, world-class ports, airports. I'm sure anybody who has visited the UAE will know the standard of the airports. An absolutely amazing re-export ecosystem. We benefit as BBMC Group. We have got a lot of imports and exports, re-exports going on, and there is something called as the Common Economic Partnership Agreement. This is the SYPA agreement, which UAE has with many countries. India is one of them, where we could import at zero customs and export to them at zero customs. So there's a free trade between these countries, and Indonesia, Malaysia, many countries, so this is something that UAE has always been a pioneer in initiating and implementing. UAE is a classic hub, a position if you're trying to target the GCC, Africa, and the CIS markets, like Mr. Osama was mentioning about the Russian market. UAE is actually very well positioned to cater to all these markets. There's a very strong supply chain infrastructure. You don't even need to get into having your own warehouses. There are efficient warehouse management systems where you can tie up. You could have your warehousing cost completely variable. That means if you have 100 tons, you pay for 100 tons. The moment it becomes 90, you pay for 90 tons. You don't need to rent a warehouse and keep it empty and pay for those empty spaces, right? So they've got very efficient, infrastructure in the country. Of course, we all know this. This is some of the uniqueness that UAE initiated, which a lot of countries later on followed. One is the 100% free ownership, the foreign ownership. Now you can have 100% foreign ownership in the mainland. You don't need to be in the free zone to enjoy this benefit. And there's a lot of free zones. I think 40 plus free zones, like Mr. Osama was mentioning. And some of these free zones, you don't need to even establish an office. You could just have a flexi desk. I think in less than 10 to 15,000 dirhams annually, you can have a license that is legal. You can open a bank account, and you can test your business in the global waters. Like I said, fast setup process. I have seen companies getting established in less than 2 to 3 days, even in mainland. So Dr. Jamal would be from the Empower Group, would be a classic person to deal in terms of especially mainland and registering with the government entities. Very strong legal framework. So a lot of family houses. When I say family houses, a lot of family wealth across the globe. I'm a certified family business advisor, and I have seen families who actually have moved their family houses into the UAE, establishing their wealth management from the UAE. So when I say strong legal framework, there is the Abu Dhabi Global Market (ADGM), and you've got the DIFC, Dubai International Financial Center. These two, actually, the legal system works across to the works in terms with the UK arbitration laws. So, if you're in the mainland, you will have to your legal system will be under the UAE courts. But the moment you establish your family offices, your holding structures in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai, in ADGM or in DIFC, you have a legal structure under the UK arbitration law, which means you are like an international company, abiding by the international laws and regulations. And it makes things very easy. So these are some of these quick things that I wanted to share. I had only 20 minutes. I don't know how much I've taken, but let me, yes, last but not least, we all know that there is no income tax. So there is no personal income tax in UAE. There is a recently introduced corporate tax, which is 9%. No currency restrictions in terms of opening accounts. And of course, your profits can be repatriated to your country of origin. Uh, this has all been discussed, and these are the key sectors. I'm sure all of us will be falling into one of them. AI, digital tech companies have a huge future in this country. There's a lot of startups being funded. There's a lot of places where you can approach VCs, you can approach private equity if you have a very strong business model. There are investors looking for such opportunities. I wanted to play this one small video of His Highness our President. This was a video, and the reason I want to share this, this was a video that he actually spoke to the audience from his home during COVID, and I think it very much relates to us today. I think that's the reason I would like to share this video, and I'm coming to the closing of my speech.
أنا سمعت كثير من المقيمين في السوشيال ميديا يغنون النشيد الوطني، وأريد أعترف لجميع المشاهدين والله يا أهلي أني لما سمعتكم تغنون النشيد الوطني الإماراتي دمعة عيني نزلت. الله يحفظكم ويحفظ البلاد اللي انتم فيها، اللي انتم مخلصين مثل أهلها إلها، وإن شاء الله نعدي هذه المرحلة بكم سالمين غانمين موفقين من رب المولى.
This is a video that touches me, moves me, and I'm sure a lot of the residents have seen this video. His Highness himself has addressed this at that time during COVID, and it's very relevant for all of us today in this country. And
أنا سمعت.
I'm just trying to go to the next slide. Next. And the last slide of our beloved, the founding father of, we used to call him Baba Zaid. I was, fortunate enough to have an interaction with, not interaction, of course, he was present when I could see him face to face. One of the greatest leader of our time, His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, the founding father. And I like this quote of his, which I would like to close my session today with by saying that he who does not know his past cannot make the best of his present and future, for it is from the past that we learn. And I think this is one of the best visionary countries that anyone can be a part of if they want to move into the future with a strong understanding of their past, traits and ethics. And that's it from my side. And this is, if anybody would like to get in touch with me, that's my WhatsApp. Please don't call because it's a WhatsApp number that I use, and that's my LinkedIn profile. If you would like to connect with me, please connect with me. And anyone would like to establish their businesses here, I'm not a legal advisor, but with my expertise and experience, I can advise you. Like I said, I am, a startup advisor, a non-executive advisor. I can help you in your strategy, in establishing your long-term vision. Like yesterday, we had a speaker talk about vision. That's one of my specialty, where we can work on vision of your company, etc., etc. And with that, I would like to stop my slide share.